Imagine this scene. The cops pull you over as you're driving down the freeway. An officer asks you for your license, and you obligingly pull it out and hand it over. You tell him it's an international license, adding that you're originally from Scotland. R. MacDonald, the cop says. You can call me Ron, you tell him. Okay, Mr. Ronald McDonald, the cop says. We have a reason to believe this car has been involved in a serious crime. We'd like you to come with us. After the cops have stopped laughing at you down at the precinct, they discover that you're actually not Ronald McDonald, and you're probably not Scottish. You are, however, all over that serious crime scene. You outright refuse to tell them who you really are, so the question is, how do they actually convict you of the crime? It sounds like the plot of a TV crime show, but as you'll find out, this is all based on a true story. The real story involves a man who's been given the name Unknown Man, and he's been sitting in a Canadian prison for more than 6 years. He says his name is Herman Emmanuel Fancom, and that he's from France. But an investigation found that to be an outright lie. When asked who he really is, he says things like this: "You can go to hell. That's all I have to say to you, go to hell." So what can you do with a man that's so stubborn? Let's first look at what he was accused of. He was involved in a pretty serious fraud case back in 2013. A Toronto man put an ad online for a commercial property and 5 guys responded to that ad, one of them being our unknown man. They said they could pay for the place, but there was a catch. They said a large sum of money was on its way from South Africa and that the cash was coated in a kind of black ink. That's the only way they could get the money out, they told the man. They told him that the coating wasn't that hard to remove, but you needed a very expensive chemical to remove the ink. They then produced a huge chunk of cash and showed the guy how this chemical could remove the coating. They told the guy that they needed his help to bring in more money and buy more chemicals, and no doubt the guy was going to get quite a bit of cash out of the deal. He ended up giving the guys $450,000, and later he discovered that the cash he'd already had was fake. The men disappeared, of course. After this happened, the cops said these guys were experts at this kind of scam, and they said they preyed on various people. The police claimed that they were good at their job, telling the press many of the suspects in this scam are very good at building rapport with the victims. They're very clever, they're very devious, and they practice this. Those early reports said a 32-year-old man from Montreal had been arrested, and his name was Fancom. We now know that this is not true, and he might not have even been 32. So how did he even get to Canada? Well, we know that he got on a flight from Cuba and arrived in Montreal on October 28, 2012. He had a French passport. At immigration, he was asked what the intention of his visit was. He said that he'd been to Canada before and had friends here. He added that he was visiting again because his buddy's sister had died and he'd been asked to attend the wake. Okay, Mr. Frankham, enjoy your stay. But then he was there to meet his crew and to start scamming wealthy Canadians. Things looked okay on the outside. He had a reservation at the Days Inn in Montreal. He had over $3,000 in a bank account and had a return ticket home. If you didn't know, some immigration officials in many countries will ask you for those 3 things if they suspect you're not a genuine tourist: proof you have cash for your stay, hotel reservation, and a return ticket. This man was given a 10-day visa, and that was that. Except he had no intention of staying 10 days or using that return ticket. He was also intending to fatten that bank account of his. After the crime was committed, an investigation pointed toward the unknown man, and he was found in a hotel. The thing was, he had ID, but not the ID he had showed at the airport. He told the cops that his real ID, the Fancom passport, was someplace else. Since this case involved a foreigner, the Canada Border Services Agency was called in. He got lucky too, because he wasn't actually convicted in the fraud case. Canadian prosecutors said just deport him. Simple. But it wasn't that simple. The unknown man actually told the cops that he wanted to stay in Canada and face the music. The authorities wanted to send him packing back to his own country, but where in hell's name was that? Fancom explained why he wanted to stay in Canada. "I asked for a trial so that I could settle the allegations against me. My right is to prove that I am not guilty," he was reported as saying in the National Post. If he went to trial and he got cleared, then he'd be Mr. Fancom, a free man. Now he's an imprisoned imposter, and he's done more time than he would have if he'd been found guilty 6 years ago. So what to do with an unknown man? Well, time has passed and he just stayed in prison. He wouldn't play ball and tell the authorities who he was. Years passed, and during that time, investigators revealed that his fingerprints pointed to fraud cases in many countries. His fingerprints matched a fraud case in the UK, while they were also owned by 2 different men in Cameroon and 1 guy in Haiti. It seems Mr. Fancom has used quite a few names before, but still the authorities didn't know where to send him. It seems now his mental health is suffering, but he's still a stubborn man. Maybe he just can't say who he really really is because that might lead to some serious crimes. He's stuck with Thankum and as an imposter, and it's not clear what the authorities should do. This is how stubborn he can be. The Canadian Immigration and Refugee Board asked him, "I will listen to what you have to say, sir, but I'd like to know first of all, am I speaking to the right person?" The reply? "I don't care, go to hell." He's certainly not who he says he is, because the French police did a massive bust of a ring that had been counterfeiting passports, and they discovered that one of the fakes was none other than a Mr. Herman Emmanuel Thankum. The French told the Canadians that they believe the unknown man is Cameroonian. The Cameroonian authorities believe that he used to sell clothes in the country and then moved to the UK, but they didn't know what his real name was. The British said his fingerprints were on file under a Cameroonian national named Boun Emmanuel Fabil. He was convicted of having fraudulent documents and did an 8-month sentence in London lockup. After his release, he stayed in the UK and created a new identity, after which he was arrested again for fraud under a different name and served another year. This globetrotter might also be wanted in Germany. The United States Department of Homeland Security said, "Okay, let's use facial recognition technology." That seems to have happened, and the Canadian Immigration and Refugee Board appealed in 2018 to get the man released. That didn't happen, and he's still in prison today. Now, 2 questions for you. 1. Why do you think this man won't reveal his true identity? And 2. What should the authorities do with him? Did you like this video? We bet you did, so go watch another. Click on this video for another great story, or this video, which is a super fascinating tale. You've got to pick one, so quickly go! Choose one now and be entertained while you learn.